Hey guys, Weekly Piano here once again after a long hiatus. There's a really great question posed by Dorian Phillip on Weebid. I've been working on this for some time to prepare myself for answering this. I had to go back and review some of these licks, but the request is do a YouTube vid on the 20 bebop licks you've posted, demonstrating each one and how to use and incorporate them into my jazz vocabulary. So I accepted the question and it reached its goal of $50 on Weebid. If you have more questions for me or videos you want me to do, please submit them on Weebid. And for now, here is going to be an epic video of the 20 bebop licks sheet that I've had up for years. I'll put it in the comments here, and yes, you'll be able to see this licks sheet. It's actually more than 20 licks. And hopefully get a little bit on how to practice them. So I'm going to start out. All right, the first lick. I'm going to start out by showing you what the lick is. Okay, so that's just one. So you need to learn that in all the keys, and you need to incorporate it into your jazz vocabulary. The way you start out is get the lick down, obviously single-handedly. I'm going to speed through some of this because this is going to be a long video. All right, so first little bit, you have to put your metronome super slow. I've got my metronome here. I'm going to put this on 40 beats per minute, and I'm just going to show you what that feels like. This is literally where you start. Start with your right hand at 40 beats per minute. I even messed that up. Etc., etc. So get it at 40 beats per minute in right hand. Get it 40 beats per minute, hands together. See, that was wrong. So if you're wrong, if you don't hit it perfectly, stop. And remember, use my other videos on like technique, because I'm not going to go deep into technique right now about how to practice this, but do it super slow to start. Etc., etc. And then gradually speed it up, like 5 beats per minute, 10 beats per minute. And then, you'll be doing it like... etc., etc. And then eventually you'll have the beat on the actual quarter notes, because right now the beat's on eighth notes at 40 beats per minute, but you'll put the beat, as you speed up, you'll want to slow down the beat and then have the beat on every quarter note, so it's like you can actually swing and then practice the swing feel super slow with both hands and with single hand. And focus on feel. And then, so I'm also giving examples of different things you can do in your left hand. Obviously, you probably haven't learned stride fully yet if you're practicing these licks right now, so stride is a whole different thing. I think I have a video on that. But you can do your comping. So let's speed this up to a reasonable... Let's get 120. 120 is like a nice... So... And notice I'm doing that in between the licks. It's just a 2-5-1 lick. So it's 2-5-1, and then in the turnaround you can do 4-3-6, right? 4 with a the sharp 11 sometimes, to 3, to 6. And this goes into how you begin to incorporate it into your actual vocabulary, because what I do when I practice these is I do the lick, I do a turnaround, and then I start to vary it. I start to push and pull in different directions. So you've got your... That's the basic one, but what if you do... Then I start to vary it. You'll never do this in a solo. You'll never repeat the same lick in a solo, but this is a way to, it's a way to make sure that it is, that you see the different angles. You see that you intuitively will know the different ways that this can be used. And then you can expand upon it by, like, this is the 2-5 one that you're starting with. You can put it on the 3 and the 6 often. A lick that's as simple as this, you could go... etc., etc. And then you want to make sure you can do that in all the keys. So... next key up. And by the way, that whole process I did before, if you can't do that, just right up a half step, that means that you're human. Nobody's going to be able to do that up a half step without going through all the motions of doing it super, super slowly, and then faster and faster and faster until you're actually comfortable with it. And then you can push your boundaries. So now you're... Notice how I took a little piece of that at the end as like the end of a line. So that's what you'll end up doing intuitively, is you'll take little tiny chunks of these licks and then you'll place them in the right places when they actually make sense, given all the other things that we've talked about in other videos, like goal notes and phrasing and motivic development, all these different elements. So now you go up another half step. See, I meant to go. Yeah. So you'll notice what you like and don't like also about what you play, and that's when you can kind of listen back to yourself and pick out those pieces that make sense, so you can make yourself consistently growing in the direction that you want to grow. Listening back to yourself is super important. Etc. And then, you can go up another half step, And make sure you have it in both hands, right? Like this too. Etc., etc. All right, so now let's go on to the next lick. That's like the practice routine. I've summed it all up. You have to go through all the keys, you know. So the next one, like, you know, you might, as you speed it up, you might end up going in different directions, taking away pieces of it, putting on new pieces. And kind of making it your own. And this is where you want to spend a ton of time on it, on an individual lick. When I was in college and I was working on these things, I would actually, no, I got this bebop cliches lick slightly after college. But when I was working on these things, after I got the bebop lick sheet, I would spend like weeks on a single lick, just getting it in all the keys. I even experimented with doing some of them upside down, which I'm not going to go into that in this video because you don't really need to do that. That's like if you really want to go the extra mile. So. Etc. You know, so then up another half step. You know, so that, see where I'm expanding upon it, I'm kind of pulling it apart. It's the same as the, but I'm, and then I just took it, what I did there, I essentially, that was kind of a complicated move. I'll explain that briefly just to show what you can do with it. It really, it should have been like that. Nah, not really, that can be a passing tone. But there, I went to the D flat minor, the tritone substitution, essentially the 2-5-1, which is D flat minor to the F sharp minor, or G flat minor, or G flat 13, D flat minor to G flat 13, back down to the F, and started on the 9 there, which essentially you're doing a major. It's the same as like an E major 7 chord, but you're playing the 3, 5, 7, and 9 of the D flat minor chord. So, etc. Some keys are easier than others to do that turnaround. etc. You know, you could do that 2 and then the 3 to 6, 2, 5, 1, right? See, that was a totally different way of incorporating it, but it was the same general chord structure. It was taking that piece and putting a different rhythm to it. So similar melodic structure, similar harmonic structure, same exact harmonic structure actually, but the rhythmic structure was different. Instead of, because you're just arpeggiating the 1 3 5 7. You know, there's nothing that special about that. It's also it's a quote from a classic song, but so the see that's a big stretch. I took that same lick and I put it on the minor flat 6, and then you could land on the 13 if you want, but it's really weird. You know, you'll really have to navigate around. The further out you go, all of this is mathematical, by the way, so you don't want to just do random shit. But it'll sound to the untrained ear more and more random the further out you get. But make sure there's always logic to it, because that which sounds random to the untrained ear it will be heard and felt by people who know the jazz vocabulary. Right, so like, so. Half step. Sometimes you gotta slow down. Etc. Okay, then up another half step. See, similar. This is essentially an arpeggio. Another thing to keep in mind is that one of the elements of this is a. You know, before I go into that, let's go. Then you're in B, and then you're back in C. So there are 2 licks in this licks sheet that are very specifically based on deceptive rhythm, and that's what this is. Like so it's a hemiol. It's like if you were to keep playing that hemiola rhythm, it would line up with the beat every once in a while, but it's basically its own sort of time signature. I don't want to explain the entire hemiola thing right now, because I think I have another video on that. But if you were to keep on going in the deceptive rhythm, it would not really make sense. But this is just to give you an example. Right, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? If you keep doing that, this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you have your group of 3 that keeps going over the 4. And you only do that twice in that deceptive rhythm, twice in the context of this, but that is a musical element that you can play with if you want to really mess with it. So here, let me put on a metronome to show you what I mean there. So if you want to take, like, everything that you play will be informed by everything that you have played previously. And if you use this lick, one thing you will have played previously is a deceptive rhythm, essentially hemiola. So let's like speed this up. We got. You know, I'm pushing and pulling the beat because that's sort of what's that's like preempted by you having the deceptive rhythm in the context of the lick. All right. So let's move on to the next lick. So this isn't like a 10-hour video. We'll just keep it at this tempo. You know how to speed up and practice. So that comes from Fascinating Rhythm. Etc., etc. It's what the song is derived from. All of these are derived from either a song or like a really famous solo or a lick that some artist played over and over again that was just part of their vocabulary that then became part of the bebop vocabulary. And none of this is random. So this is another chance to use rhythmic deceptiveness, right? So when I'm practicing this, for this one, I would actually go through the Fascinating Rhythm. I would keep going 2-5, like. I know I'm not playing the actual Fascinating Rhythm song, which is like. And it goes on. I actually don't remember where the other section of it goes. But the main point of this is like use that piece and use the elements of it, not just the lick itself, but the elements of it, which is rhythmic deception, to do your solo. So. cetera, et cetera. So I'm not going to go through all these in all the keys because it'll literally take 10 hours. But use the same technique as the previous one to do the rest of the keys on that. All right, third lick. Here's one. That's a good one. I love that one. Put a little slide in there, maybe. So see, I'm pushing and pulling the rhythm on this one as well. It doesn't have to be that exact sort of syncopation. It could be... Right? So that I took that like very first part, and then I used that as a motif to move around the changes and use the sharp 9 and flat 9 and had that as like, but using this, use that as like the sort of centerpiece. Like. So see, at the end there, I went something like, I can't remember, something like that. Rather than going down, I went up, but used similar vocabulary for that. All right, so now let's move on to the next lick. Is that? Woo, that's a good one. Sounds like a bird lick. All right, so 2, 3, 4. If you can do all these in 2, 5, and then 3, 6, you'll be better off. Because the point is not to play these licks in the end. The point is to have this vocabulary in your fingers so it comes out then when you're just soloing. Right? See, I took it, and let me just point out one thing. That was intuitive, but the decision was to do 16th notes there was because I did 16th notes at the beginning. It's consistency and motivic use, and that rhythm is a motif. If you're never playing 16th notes and then you play 16th notes, it's going to stand out. And if you play 16th notes and then you never play them again, then you've wasted a rhythmic motif. So if something like this happened, etc. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, okay, here we get into some Coltrane licks. Yeah, love this shit. All right. Etc., etc. This is when you're on a 5. Well, you can use it in all sorts of contexts, but how I like to use it is if I'm on the 5, it's a diminished lick, right? So meaning it's based on the diminished scale. So if you have your 5, it's based on the half-whole diminished scale from here, which means you have your flat 9, your sharp 9, your 3, your sharp 4, your 5, your 13, your 7, and your 1. all baked into that one scale. And so if you play this lick over it, you're hitting all of these really powerful upper extensions. Right? So I want to circle back to how to actually practice these, because this one, it's the same as the first one, but I want to explain it in the context of this just to make sure it's super clear. Just start it very, very slow with a metronome, like 40 beats per minute. I would start this one hands together. And make sure you can do it super slowly. Make sure you're not pressing hard, but you're more just using the contrary motion of your fingers. And then you can speed it up eventually, but very slowly. Speed it up very slowly. And then you can like practice with a chord, with a pedal tone on the 5, because that's really where you'll use it, you know. And that's more when you're doing like modal stuff. You can also use it to go outside the changes, like etc. Yeah, so that's that lick. And then do that in all the keys, but this one gets easier because you only have to do it in 3 keys. You have to do it in 3 keys before it repeats itself. So, right, that's there, and then, right, and then up a half step, right, and then you're up another half step. But notice, then you're back to your original lick, the 4th one up, because it's a diminished lick and it's symmetrical. So your lick, oh, and get this one upside down too, right? So like you do this lick and you do it up a minor third. It's all just this same thing, a minor third down. So as soon as you go up 4 half steps, then you're on the repeat of the original one that you were doing. So you only have to get this solid in really 3 keys, where all the other ones you have to get them solid in all 12. Yeah, that's a fun one. Okay, let's continue here. I'm just gonna make sure my thing's still recording. That would suck if it stopped. Yep, still going. Sweet. All right, we are still in business. Okay, that's the Coltrane lick. Now here's another diminished lick. That's, oh yeah, I haven't practiced this one in a while. That's very similar, so practice that the same way. Like, out of shape. My hands are out of shape. But anyway. So this is actually more, it can be maybe a little more tonally relevant from your 5 to the 1. Yeah. And then you can also use it as a hemiola, which is the next lick, number 7. Okay. I'm not going to do that in all the keys. All right, so next lick. So this is a nice basic one. It's just 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. And the significance of this is it just outlines the changes with the flat 9, the powerful leading tones. So 5, 4, 3, 2 in C, and then to the 3 of A, the 6, the flat 9 of A, 2, so now you're on the 3 of the 2, then the 3 of the 5, and the flat 9 of the 5. Very, very basic jazz melody that you'll hear everywhere. So make sure you can do that. And you know, I'm speeding through the process, but get it in 2 hands. And then make sure you're working on your feel, your time and your feel throughout all of this, because that's super, super important. None of this will sound good if it doesn't feel good. I can stand to remember that myself. Eventually, these will become second nature to you. Let's move on. Now, but you wanted me to tell you about how to. So the big thing about these, the first big step is to get a completely second nature in your hands, and then do the 1, 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, 3, 6. Oh, but in this context, it's just 1, 6, 2, 5. So you just keep repeating the 1, 6, 2, 5 in the context of this, and then you can expand upon it, like. See, I'm taking that lick and I'm kind of moving it around, using it in different contexts, sometimes placing it in, sometimes replacing it with other pieces of vocabulary. That's how you can keep pushing the boundaries of how you can use the lick. But then when you go to when you're actually on your axe and at a session, you don't want to ever just pull out a lick and try to play it, because it'll never work out for you. It has to come out naturally and it has to be ingrained in your subconscious. All right, so let's keep going. So now we have, this is a great one. Let's switch keys. And so for this one, there's that big space. You can add like a piece of another lick in after that. Or like, see, I did the. I did the tritone substitution there. So, yeah, pull out different pieces. All right, let's look at this next one. It's a good one. All right. So this is now a little side note here. The entire bebop vocabulary is based on goal notes and enclosures. This is sort of an enclosure, which is really a flourish from classical music, but like translated into a jazz context. This is one that'll be great if you can get fast. That when you're just like, after you do 2-5-1. I don't really have it down. You know. Etc., etc., etc. Okay. So next one. Woo! That's it. That's. Woo! That's a cool one. I don't remember that one. That's right. Is it? Okay, now this is a good opportunity to look at what the context of the lick. So this is a really great point to look at what makes the lick really a good lick. There's so many "that's what she says" in there. Okay, so you start here on the. This is the minor 3 of the 2. And you're doing a big skip there. So like down, but then continuing way up. And look where you're ending. You're ending literally one note above, one diatonic scale note above where you started. So you left here and your goal was here. That's like perfection in terms of composition. It's not an accident. So that's a piece of context you can take to build out your solos, and then and pay attention to goal notes and how you're moving away and back towards them. See, I started a line there and then ended it there to keep with the consistency of starting here and ending here. Now we're sort of like multiple levels up when we're thinking in this way, and I don't want you to consciously think that way when you're doing solos, but you can know that works and practice it. And then when you get to the bandstand, that stuff comes out naturally, as long as you've practiced it. That's another one. You can go right to the 3. So let's see what that sounds like. Etc., etc. Again, I won't do this in all the keys because I want to get you all of these licks. Ready? Ha ha ha. Huh. Okay, check this out. Oh man. So this one we got to do a little bit of studying, right? So we're leading up to here. We're starting here. We're starting with a note. We're leading up to its octave. This is our like sort of focal point. Take it down, down, down. Then chromatically lead up to one step down from there, which is just compositionally brilliant. Because this is a long video, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it. All right. So there's so many elements of this that you can take, like that. That's a lick that people use consistently. So taking pieces of this really makes sense. All right, let's go to the second page. Okay. First lick on the second page. So this is like a simple 2-5-1. And to use this in context, just remember where you're starting and stopping. You're starting on the 1 of the 2, and you're stopping on the 3 of the 5. So this leads up here, but if you want to deceive, you can go down to here. And it doesn't have to start on beat 2. Like this could be a pickup. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That's like the simplest. So, see, I'm taking that, like, that little piece. You can use that anywhere. All right, so next. Ooh, okay, that's a cool one. All right. So to do this one in for this one, I would practice like make sure you've got. So here's something about the D sharp diminished. It's like, so you got your D minor, then D sharp diminished. Is actually sort of like F sharp diminished to B7. So the flat 5 to the 7 to the 3 to the 6. So like you're doing an upper turnaround here. You know, and you can use that contour like, right? That's not the exact lick, but I did the D minor to a different diminished. It was a flat diminished, which resembles the 5 in the upper extensions, the 5, flat 9, 3, 5, and 7. All right, let's move on. Here's a G7. They're saying Petrushka chord. So this is more like, yeah, on a 5, on any 5, like. It's just the 5 and then the tritone substitution of the 5. It's pretty much the same. Like, it's just upper. This could be considered upper extension of the 5. You know, you have your sharp 4 and your flat 9, and it's just this cool kind of rhythmic variation in there. So yeah, you can also kind of like, if you're really going hard on modal. It's a cool pattern, like. Etc., etc. All right, cool. Now. Okay, so this is exemplifying now. This is very important. Same chords, G to D flat, and then it's doing the 13 of G, walking down the diminished scale. Any one of these licks could be used in its isolation. In fact, I use that a lot. It's similar. I try to get my fingering all right, but like, you know, so it's. More like a big pedal chord, right? Etc., etc., etc. Okay, let's move on. This is one of the ones I practiced the most in college. So I just get this. So by the way, you'll see me do this a bunch. This is based on the flat 6. Right? It's just a lick in A minor if you're in C sharp. And then resolve it. So that's a little nugget for you if you've gotten this far. But yeah. You can use it in that context. All right, let's move on. Where are we? Okay, so now ooh. Okay, so this one, you're enclosing the minor 3. So yeah, get I think for ones like this, it's just get them in all the keys. Get them faster and faster, 2 hands, and then you'll be taking bits and pieces of them and moving them into your other vocabulary. Here, okay, so here's another one. Okay, so that is sort of like what I did before. It's the upper extensions of the G, but it resembles an A flat. And that's where you could, like, when you're on the G, like, think of the A flat minor scale with the major 6 and 7, sort of like melodic minor, but also major on the way down. This lick takes pieces of that, and then you can turn it around. Yeah, and all of this, remember, the most important thing here is motivic development and phrasing, more so than the vocabulary that you're using. Though it's good to have this vocabulary. But a lot of the stuff that makes what I play sound good is motivic development and phrasing. All right, here, check this out. That's a nice one. Play like. Play around with that 2 to the flat 2 to the 1. And then, motivically, what would make sense is then keep going downwards and play with chromatic planing. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. We're almost at the end of the licks sheet, everybody. Almost there. Here we go, number 22. You'll notice me play a B over a C sometimes, because that's just making C diminished. And it's a really cool sound, and it can resolve right to C. So it's the triad a half step below the 1. All right. Next one. Ha ha ha. So that's this one. So this one you can expand upon in all sorts of ways, because it's using that beginnings of the A flat of the flat 6 minor over the flat 6 minor with the major 6 and 7 over the 5. Etc. All right. Next one. Ooh, let's make sure my camera's still going. Please be going. Please be going. Yes, still going. Sweet. Oh man, awesome. No video editing from me. Okay. So now we have. Ooh, this one I don't remember. Is it? Oh, I remember that. Duh. Again, based on those upper extensions of the 5. So that's one where, like, you could move that up by half steps. So based on B, A flat, to C, or like F minor to A flat minor. And when I say A flat, I'm talking about the upper, not the lower. That's how you can use that. Now, next one. Oh, this is one of my favorites. I'm glad we got here. So this is a diminished lick. And with licks like this, you can actually change it to be very, what do you call it? This one can be like, this one can be continuous. And just keep on going up the keyboard. And when I practiced this, this was one of the ones in college that I practiced. I know. And when I would do that, I would play it super slow from the very bottom of the keyboard to the very top of the keyboard and back down, upside down, like. Right. But this is one that you can use to create lots of tension, because you start on the 2 and you go to the upper extensions, but you can keep going to that, and you can turn it into like the Coltrane lick, right? Because it's diminished. All right, that's one of my favorite ones. Now this last lick, is that it? that's a twisted and turning one. Oh, that's what it is. So 2, 2. Yeah. I put a slide there. And that's one you could take the... See, you'll take pieces of this like that, and then you can do like... etc., etc. All right, so you've gotten to the end of this video, as long as it's still recording, which I really hope it is. If you would, please let me know that you got to the end of it. I want to know every single person who actually watched to the very end of this video. Just leave a comment in the comments. Give it a little like hands up or something like that in the comments if you actually got to the end. Yeah, we did it. We did it. The entire Bebop Licks sheet explained. Sort of. Now, if you have other ideas for me, please go on to Weebid at greg.weebid.app. I'll put it in the notes here. And you can put any request in for anything that you want from me, any videos that you want from me, and you can fund those requests with like $5, $10, $50, whatever you'd be willing to pay for that video. You just fund it with whatever it is, and then everybody else can pitch in, and ideally it turns into a crowdfund of some amount of money that makes it worthwhile for me to keep doing these videos, and it has been so far. So I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Keep practicing. Let me know what you need, and let me know how I can help you get better. Thanks, everybody. Love you. Peace.